Hi all, welcome. We will begin the webinar shortly once all attendees have settled in. Thank you.
Hi, Audrey, Desmond.
Hi,
Hey,
Leo.
Leo. Good morning.
Good to
Good
see
morning.
you.
How are you today?
Yeah, good, good.
Great, great.
How is the
Hi.
how is the temperature like this morning?
This morning was pretty good. 19. It was
19.
okay.
Okay, it's a nice weather.
Yes.
Much better than the weather in Melbourne right now, right? It's nice.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not sure about Melbourne, but it must be very cold because it's winter.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
It was. Okay. I think most of the attendees have already come in, so we can start the session now. Okay, Desmond and Leo. All right.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you present today. I'm Audrey, the Associate Director with Global Migration Solutions. Thanks for taking time today. I know that it's a working day, and actually today we are honored to have Leo from the Western Australia State Government to share with us the most up-to-date information on the business and investment migration visa pathways available in WA and the overview of the state itself. Leo, welcome.
Hello. Hello, everybody.
Thanks, Leo, for joining us. We will then also have Desmond to cover the summary of the visa process, including the criteria and requirements. Desmond, welcome.
Hi, everyone. Desmond here, and thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Thanks both. So I would just like to start off with a quick introduction about our company for the benefit of those who are attending our webinar and joining us for the first time. Yeah. So we, Global Migration Solutions, are based in KL, and ANZ Migrate, our sister company, is based in Singapore. We are both an award-winning migration agency that advocates the right migration practices with trust, service, and commitment for our clients, our partners, ourselves, and our brand. So we have been in operation for 18 years now and maintain a 99.9% success rate. And we're happy to share that we have helped more than 12,000 families successfully with their migration plans. We are also the only migration agency in Malaysia that has won the top 25 Global Migration Agency CEO Award by You Global Magazine, an international immigration magazine based in the US. So we are actually very honored to have won this consecutively and progressed from the top 100 to the top 25 in 2021. And again, this is not possible without the support from our business partners, immigration, state government, and our clients. These are the services that we carry. So we've been pioneers for Australia and New Zealand for 18 years. And we also do investment programs for the European residency program, which is through Portugal, and the United States EB5. We are in 5 locations in Australia, Singapore, Malaysia, of course, Vietnam, and Hong Kong. So we are represented by 2 licensed migration advisors, Desmond and James, right? So Desmond and James, so basically all applications lodged through our office will be overseen and reviewed by both of them. Desmond is actually the founder and managing director of Global Migration Solutions. Most importantly, he's the licensed migration agent, which is very important for your application. He's a chartered accountant by profession, and he has more than 18 years of offering services, effective immigration advice for our clients, and also popular speaker in migration events. So migration events have been kind of on a stall right now, and I believe Desmond, once everything is now, you'll continue speaking at events again. Okay, so the focus today is on, I think the next slide is on the license. Would you like to show that, Desmond? All right, yeah. So this is the license for the migration advisors. it's important to ensure you're always dealing with registered migration agents with a current license, because they need to complete a yearly CPD to make this valid, all right? Okay, so today's focus is on Western Australia. So on the economic front, WA's economy has recovered from the initial impact of COVID with strong support from the mining industry. Retail trades reached a new record in 2021. Construction activities are in demand, and there's an ongoing healthy international trades. Thus, the labor market has also strengthened with all this increased economic activity. Western Australia has been and continues to be the top choice, particularly among Malaysians, business and investors, and also a crowd favorite globally. And we believe this is also possible because the program is very friendly and encouraging, with a lower entry requirement of business assets compared to other states actually. I also wish to highlight to all of you that the process of getting a nomination from the state government is a very important part of the entire visa application process. So having a supportive state government is crucial. And Leo is the key person in managing these nomination applications. So you're basically getting first-hand information from the decision-making team. Thus, I invite you to make use of this opportunity to learn more from him. And we will also have a Q&A at the end of the session. Okay, so Leo, I'll pass it on the session to you. You can then share your slides.
Okay, thank you, Audrey. All right, I just answer a question quickly. Someone just posed a question in the chat box. All right, beautiful. Okay, where is it? Okay, good morning, everybody. It's Leo here from the Western Australia State Government. Thank you for Desmond for inviting me to speak to you about Perth, Western Australia, and in particularly the state nomination criteria for the 188 Business, Innovation and Investment Visa. I'm currently in Perth. At the moment, it's about 21 degrees, sunny, and we have no time difference. Okay, that's the beauty about Perth and with our neighboring countries like in Malaysia, in Singapore. Before any of our presentation, it's always a disclaimer for non-endorsement because we're from government. Therefore, we will not refer or endorse any service providers or third parties in the process of your migration journey. So you need to do your own due diligence and research in terms of finding the right providers for your migration for the visa. Okay, so today the topic will focus on business and investment migration to Western Australia. Especially, I mean, for Western Australia, it's actually for Perth. This is the Perth CBD. This photo was taken about December last year, when we are still in a kind of like a closed border arrangement. But in fact, in the last 2.5 years, we had a minimum impact from this global pandemic. We had a very strong economic growth. Since our border was opened in March this year, we have seen an increased number of people arriving to Perth because they saw how we performed in the last 2.5 years in this global pandemic, especially with a very low cases of COVID for nearly 2 years before we opened the border. So where we are, Perth. All right, so where we are, Perth is on west coast of Australia, okay? There are many other popular cities like Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, along the east coast, okay? And the reason we have the same time zone is because we are in the 8+8 zone in terms of the global time zone, with most of the, as you can see, most of the Asian countries. For example, Singapore, Malaysia, and it's very close for you guys and for us to fly to your country, and for you to come back and forth for business or visiting families. So that's a big advantage for Perth, because it only takes 4.5 hours flight to Singapore or to KL from Perth. Many flights a day and no time difference. And literally, you can have a breakfast in KL and fly to Perth for a late lunch, and literally fly back home for dinner in KL. Okay, it's possible to do it within 1 day. All right. Perth has been really well known in terms of its environment, also it's the safety. That was also recognized in the most livable cities in the world. So since 2004, Perth has been rated, as top 10 most livable cities in the world. Last year, we were number 6. Okay, we are very proud for a population of 2.5 million that we were ranked number 6 in the world for one of the most livable cities. And that ranking was on different aspects of our daily life, for example, for education, medical, infrastructure, safety, etc. Okay, so which means Perth is a destination for a good lifestyle, for quality lifestyle, for you and your family. Okay, before we talk about the real business and investment, okay, the environment you're going to live in is phenomenal. Okay, so one of the factors I think most of you would also be considering or quite concerned is the education of your children. We as a state have 2.5 million people, probably 2.6, close to 2.6 million now. We have 5 universities in the state, which is equivalent to every 500,000 people can get access to one university. Okay, which means if your children, if your child or children, they qualify for a university degree, you get a placement. Okay, and also if you are holding this 188 visa, okay, our government, Western Australia state government, will offer you free education, okay, in our local government schools. Okay, from kindergarten to year 12. If you have 3 children, all under in the high school, okay, junior school and high school, imagine how much money you could save, okay, by sending them to local government school. But if you want to send them to private school, you just pay the same as us, as local. So this is an incentive our government has offered to you as a holder 188 visa. Okay, and also we offer more than just university degrees, also other pathways such as from vocational, we call it TAFE, or through different skill trainings, etc., for your children to achieve their goals. All right, let's back to the main topic for today, the business and investment visa. First of all, just quickly run through the application process. Okay, so number one process, okay, the first step is assessment. Okay, because you have to do assessment about your business, your assets, your experience, your age, English, blah, 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 to see what visa, okay, you are qualified for. It's not that you pick the visa to apply. It's actually what you are qualified for, which visa, okay? And who can do the assessment, okay? Well, you can do it yourself, but of course, we would recommend you to engage with a registered migration agent from Australia. And today we have two of them here, Desmond and James. They both have the MARA license, okay? I think just now they showed you the license, and you can actually search their details on the MARA, which is a government website, okay? So once they've done the assessment and give you the options, okay? Once you have the options, okay? Maybe it's 188A or 188B or C. Then you have to choose which state or territory. Okay, going to Australia is not going to Australia in broad sense. It's actually going to a city. Okay, so if you say, okay, I wanted to migrate to Melbourne, then you need to apply state nomination to the Victorian government where Melbourne is. And if you say, I wanted to come to Perth because it's shorter flight time, same time zone, then you need to apply state nomination to the Western Australian government, which is our office. Okay, so state nomination applications normally will take us about 4 weeks to process your application, providing all the paperwork are ready. And then once we approve your nomination, we'll send you an invitation to lodge the visa application to the Department of Home Affairs, or we can call it the Immigration Department. Okay, this is the federal department. Okay, this is the federal department. So this is the agency who will make a decision on your visa. Okay, so first step, choose a state. Okay, choose a city, and then apply for state nomination. Once you have your state nomination approved, where we will send you the invitation to apply, you must within calendar days, okay, and then to the Department of Home Affairs. They will make a decision. At the moment, we say approximately 24 months, okay? Some people will get it quicker, some will be longer, okay? At the moment, depends on the visa type. 188C SRV is the quickest at the moment, okay? And then 188A is second. 188B is the third, okay? However, the Department of Home Affairs is trying to clear all the backlogs. Therefore, the processing time will get shorter and shorter over the next year or two, okay? But at the moment, you're looking at between around 24 months, give or take. Okay, so it's not a very short process. It's also it's not that you have to move immediately. Okay, there's a processing time until you hear a decision from the Department of Home Affairs. All right. let's talk about different visa subclasses, okay? Number one, 188A, okay? Which is the business innovation stream, okay? In summary, okay, in a nutshell, this, you need to be in business, okay, qualify in your country. You need to be in the business, okay, and have a turnover requirement, 2 out of last 4 fiscal years, demonstrate minimum net assets of you and your spouse together, okay, pass the 65 points on the point test, okay, including your age, which is 55 cut-off age, your English level, your experience in the business, the turnover and assets, okay? Then once you meet the basic requirement, then you can apply, all right? If you are over 55, don't worry, okay? We can do something for you. And if you are short by some points, don't worry, we can also do something for you, okay? I'll leave this two till the end, okay? This is the basic, okay? This is the basic requirement to qualify for this visa. So we didn't add any extra stuff, okay? Apart from the immigration requirement when you apply for the 188 state nomination. What we want you to tell us is you have to propose, okay, the minimum for the qualify for the 888. You need to propose the minimum in your business proposal and the budget, okay? And the number of FTEs, okay, you don't have to make them up. Depends on the type of business you are proposing, okay? Because at the end of 888, we can do the 2 out of 3. Okay, it's not very easy to understand, but I'm sure your agent could help you to do the proposal for you. Okay, if you decide to proceed. Okay, so basically this is the minimum. Okay, in terms of monetary. Okay, to propose at least 600,000 in total net assets, which 200 in business. Turnover is fixed, okay, no negotiation, okay, 300,000 turnover. That's for 888, okay? And just now someone asked a question about the residency requirement, okay? For the main applicant, okay? For the main applicant, you need to, stay in Western Australia at least 1 year in the 3 years. Because this visa, 188, is a 5-year provisional visa, okay? You need to fulfill all these requirements within that 5 years, okay? Then you can apply for this 888, which is the PR, all right? Okay? And you can swap the main applicant for 888. For example, I'll give you an example. For the 188 stage, okay? For example, husband will be the main applicant because he holds all the business or the managing the business, okay? However, he cannot spend 1 year in the 3 years, okay? But the spouse can do it. The spouse will be in Perth with the children, okay? And the spouse can manage the business in Western Australia to qualify for 888. Therefore, we support a swap, okay? 188 can be husband or wife, okay? Will be A, and 888 can be B, okay? You can swap, providing, okay, B meets all these criteria. Ownership, okay, this residency requirement, and managing the business, okay? It's not as hard as you thought, but, okay, require you to really understand, what we need, okay? So for 188, when you apply for the state nomination for 188, you need to give us a business proposal, okay? Including a detailed budget, this proposal doesn't have to be 100 pages. Okay, as long as you can clearly tell us your understanding of the current market and the proposed business activity you want to do. Okay, it can be a few pages if you can detail what you want to do, and then a budget. Okay, not into like 100 pages again. It could be 1 or 2 pages, as long as we can understand that you know the costing. Okay, you know the costing to support, okay, to substantiate your net assets in business, employment, and total net assets in Western Australia for the 888. Okay, remember the employment, it's depend on the need. If you are, for example, if you are doing an export business, you are exporting Western Australian wine, honey, olive oil back to Malaysia, okay? You literally do not need a full-time staff. Okay, you can do it all by yourself. So do not put that in, okay? Don't try to make up a proposal by putting down unrealistic proposed like employees, okay? Because if you put anything there, we have to check against you at 888, okay? So basically, we wanted to see that you have do research for your business proposal. You understand what you want to do, okay? The viability of your proposed business activity and the investment amount and number of new employees. If you need employees, if you do not need employees, okay? If you are opening a restaurant, of course, you need employees, okay? If you say, I'm gonna purchase a franchise fast food, then you need an employee, right? But if you say, I'm doing property development, probably you don't need any employees because everything is subcontract, okay? Many people ask about what kind of business you can do in Western Australia. Unlike some states and territory government, Western Australia has no restriction, okay? Which means you can propose to do any kind of business you like. Here are just a few examples about people like you from other countries or from Malaysia, what they've done in the past, okay? From hospitality, restaurant, or from export import, okay? Property development, retail, okay? Service industry or tourism industry, agribusiness, winery, okay? As long as the business you are proposing are realistic and can help you to qualify for your AAA, okay? So no restriction, all right? Realistic, okay? And can qualify you for the PR, for the AAA. And for property development, we have a special policy for it, okay? If you want to propose a property development business for 188, business innovation, all right? So you have to propose with a project to construct at least 3 dwellings, okay? Which can generate at least 300,000 turnover. This is Department of Home Affairs requirement, okay? So, which means you need to, okay, you need to source the project, construct, and be able to sell at least 1 to make up the turnover, okay? And that has to be done within your visa time frame, okay? Must be sold. You cannot rent the property that you have built, okay? If you wanted to build one for yourself, okay, you can do it, providing it must be in addition to the minimum 3 dwellings and required net business assets. For example, if you wanted to build one for yourself, then there needs to be 4 dwellings in the project minimum. Okay, of course, the more the better. Depends on the size of the project. And also, please beware, if you're doing property development for 1AA, you cannot undertake this business activity in partnership with any other bodies, other parties, okay? You have to run this business yourself because it's only 3 dwellings. It's a very small property development project. Okay, so we expect you to 100% own and run the business. Okay, so, and remember, these are the state's requirement. Okay, the Federal Immigration Department will look at your ownership. Okay, because we ask you to 100% own the project, so that's a tick. But also your data, how you demonstrate your day-to-day management of property development business. That's something you need to take into consideration and prepare for your 888. Okay. Next one is the 188B, which is the investor stream. Okay. Again, you have to qualify in your own country. Okay. Through business experience. Okay. Business or investment. Okay. Either way. All right. And you have to meet the assets requirement, minimum 2.5 million for you and your spouse combined. Point test, age. Okay. Very simple. If you qualify, okay, and providing you can transfer at least 2.5 million, okay, to the what we call a compliant investment set by the Department of Home Affairs. This visa was introduced. The change for this visa was introduced from 1st of July last year. Okay, where in the past you can invest into government bond, more secure, but the new policy you have to invest into a compliant investment for 2.5 million. Okay, for the duration of your provisional visa. Again, this is 5 years visa. Okay. There's nothing different. There's nothing really different between the state and the federal government's requirement. The only thing is we want you to agree, okay, you will reinvest the 2.5 million compliant investment into any West Australia assets upon the maturity. Okay, so at the beginning, you can invest into any compliant investment. Okay, but on the maturity, okay, 3 or 4 years later, when you withdraw the investment, you have to agree you will reinvest the money into West Australian assets, okay, which including residential or commercial properties, shares of West Australian companies, the gold bullions from Perth Mint, or businesses in WA. You know, all these will be counted as West Australian assets, okay. And also there's a residency requirement, 2 years in the 3 years. And also we also support a swap in main applicant. Okay, remember, if the husband is the main applicant for 188, okay, and wife can stay to meet the residency requirement, the wife can be the main applicant here, okay. The only thing is, if you are thinking of swap main applicant for the 888, when you do the compliant investment, you have to put in joint name. So either of you would qualify, okay? It's not that hard, it's not that hard, okay? This is very simple to remember. Okay, the next one, which is the 188C, C for Charlie, which is the significant investor visa. Quite similar to this investor visa, okay? Instead, you need double the money, okay? $5 million. However, there's no point test, no age limit. All right, so if you can prove you have at least 5 million Australian dollars to be able to transfer over to invest into compliant investment, okay? Remember, this money can also be gifted from the parents, okay? Only gifted from the parents. The parents want to gift the child or the children the money, providing the parents can demonstrate the money or their legal intent, okay, through business or investment, then that's fine. All right, I've seen quite a few Malaysian, parents are gifting the $5 million to the children while they are studying here, to help them get a PR, to settle them here. Okay, so it's also another way to think about. So that 5 million goes to a compliant investment again, okay, in the same sort of components, okay. Just the only difference is it's 5 million, where the investor one is 2.5 million, okay. Same thing, agree to reinvest the 5 million upon maturity, okay. Because you are investing 5 million Australian dollars, the residency requirement is very low, okay. On average, 40 days a year, okay. Just coming here for 2 holidays, you probably will be able to qualify for it, okay. So this is the significant investor visa, 188C. Last one, which is what we call the 188E. This is not a new visa, however, not many people were able to get it, okay, because this is the entrepreneur stream, okay, which means you need to have innovative idea, okay, that's number one, innovative idea. Number two, it can be commercialized in Western Australia, okay? So you can't just have idea, and the idea cannot be commercialized. You need to have, number one, the idea, and number two, it can be commercialized in Western Australia, okay? Within this visa time frame, all right? So there's no very detailed requirement, okay? So if you're interested, okay, send us email to obtain the expression interest form. All right, then we can start from there. Okay, so it might sound very easy. However, this visa is not that easy, I can tell you. Okay, remember 2 things: innovative idea, and that idea can be commercialized in Western Australia. Okay, 2 important points. All right, that's all for the visas. Okay, now this is the, I think, the very important part. As I mentioned in the previous slide, you can see for the business innovation, okay, you need a 65 points, and you can't be over 55 years old. Same as the investor visa, okay, 65 points. 55 is the cutoff age. However, our government is very kind. We can offer you what we call age waiver. Okay, if you are over 55, okay, 55 plus. If you're over 55 plus, we can help you. Okay, and if you only have 55 points, okay, if you only scored 55 points. To be able to pass, you need 65 points, right? You need 10 points. We can also help you, all right? However, you can only apply one of the above. So either choose one or the other, okay? For age waiver, it's very clear. If you're doing the 188A, business innovation, okay, you need to propose, this is the minimum, at least 1.5 in total net assets in WA, personal and business, which $500,000 in the business, and 1 new full-time job. This is the minimum, okay, for age waiver or the 10 points, okay. For the investor program, okay, on top of that 2.5 million, this is remain untouched, okay. 2.5 million goes to compliant investment. You need to show us additional 1.25 million in net assets in WA when you apply for your 888 state nomination. Same thing here, okay? When you apply for 888, you need to show us. Okay, so which means at the beginning, when you apply for the 188 visa, you need to put the 2.5 million into, okay? And before you apply for this 888, you need to show us the 1.25, okay, or the $500,000 and 1.5 for 1 job. All right, so that's before the 888, because many people would ask, when do I need to make the additional investment? All right, I can tell you when you apply for AAA state nomination, you need to have them in place. All right? So you can play around with the time. Okay? Net assets in WA means, okay, properties, businesses, investment can't be 100% cash at the bank. All right? You can have some in cash to support yourself, but you can't have the majority. You know what I mean? Okay? So this is for the age waiver and the 10 points. Right? If you need a 10 point or you need an age waiver, can't do both. All right, so that's the end of my presentation. It's the detail of office. Ever, okay, you can come and visit us, or you can send an email, or you can visit our website. Okay, all the information that I presented today are actually on the website. You can go back and review them. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Leo. Thank you for the very, very detailed presentation. I think it also covered a lot on the immigration requirements plus the state requirements as well. So thanks for that. So Desmond, I think Leo has made your job a little bit easier now. So Desmond, would you like to take on the screen right now?
Sure. Hi, Leo. Thanks again. And I think Leo has gone through, that requirements that covers both stages, where you have what you are required to fulfill to just meet the first stage requirements. And Leo has also go on, to explain in the requirements to you, the requirements for you to convert into the PR, which is the 888 stages. Now, I'm going to just go through with all of you here a quick summary, basically, a quick summary, and I'm going to just run through very quickly. Now, let's look into the business innovation visa. As you know, there are 2 stages, and then followed by the second stage, which is the permanent residence. And the first stage is the temporary residence. And in order for you to just get through the first stage or to be eligible to apply for the first stage, these are all the requirements. So you must be able to demonstrate a business experience of minimum 2 years, and the shareholding of 30% in your home country. If it is public listed company, then 10%. And the turnover has to be a minimum of 750,000 per year over the 2 years, before applying for the visa. So these 2 years could relatively be 2 of the last 4 years. So the first 3 criteria applies to the business performance, then comes with the financial assets of you and your spouse, where you should fulfill at least 1.25 million and below 55 years old, and possible age waiver if you are thinking or you're interested to get through to settle down in Western Australia. Of course, the point system, in terms of point system, we like to take each and individual of you through to assess, because every one of you has different backgrounds, and we will guide you through separately. Please do contact us. Now, when you meet these requirements, and this is what it takes you to obtain the first stage of the 18A. Now, just to give you an idea of the processing time, if that is important for you, to plan to see if that at all, suit the timing, and that would gives you a better plans, as in when should you plan, to spare your times in Australia. Now, I'm just using the June 2022 as a start. So we take the first process seriously. We believe that this is an important process to make sure that we have a complete set of documentation that is required throughout the process of the application from the clients in advance. We do not wish, the clients to get stuck with any types of the documents required by either state government or the federal governments. Thus, we do not generally start the client's application until we have the full sets on hand. Now, this is also to make sure that we are confidently taking up the client's case to make sure that we can deliver and get a visa granted at the end of the day. So Leo mentioned about the EOI, states nomination, and this process generally, I would suggest that we allocate around 2 months to get it approved. So once you get approval, you do have 60 days to file the application. We must file the application within 60 days because we have gotten every documentation in advance. So the turnaround times is quick. So generally within 1 month, we will be able to file the visa application. So at the moment, the processing times could be relatively, quite sometimes 20 months, for example. And like Leo mentioned, the government is also looking at putting in the extra resources and efforts to speed up the processing time. So we are hoping, this processing time is going to be much faster in the future. But having said that, so the current processing time that we are looking at, should you lodge the application, for example, in October 2022, and you're expecting to get the request for the health check and the criminal records check only around March 2024, and then the visa approval should come around July 2024. And of which, after the approval, then you do have the 5 years of visa. So to set up the business, generally you do have another 3 years before you need to set up the business if you're not ready to move over to Australia yet. So in 2024, so 5, 6, 7. So effectively, you're expecting to kickstart the business in 2027 to 2028 and 2029 in order to meet the requirements for the second stage conversion. Yeah. So I hope that this gives you some idea, on how much time do you have should you start the process, at the moment. Now, this is again a summary of the second stage requirement of what Liu has went through. And while you're in Australia, you're expected to run the business for 2 years. And that it comes with the requirements of the share ownership as well. Just to highlight, if you are looking at property developments, like what Leo had mentioned earlier, highlighted earlier, you are expected to actually own the company, wholly or on your own, and not looking at joint venture or participating in one of the projects where you hold certain percentage of the share. But literally, what I would like to highlight here is Western Australia governments are quite flexible in terms of, the business. And when it comes to what sort of business that you wish to propose, we obviously need to make sure that, this business is a qualifying business. This business do, contribute to the economy in Western Australia. But at the same time, if you're looking at food and beverage, for example, you're looking at consultancy business, for example, these are all the business that mostly acceptable by the Western Australia government. Yeah. And the state requirements here, do take note, husband and wife. So regardless of who is the principal applicants for the 188, so if the spouse were to take over and based in Western Australia to fulfill the PR requirements, yes, it is under the role swap, and Western Australia governments do support that. The turnover requirements is also one of it. So over the 2 months of business operation, do take notes the second year, which is the last 12 months before you print in the PR application, you have to have a turnover of 300,000. Yeah. And then likewise, what you have seen here, the item number 5 and number 6, really, there are 3 criteria here. One is to employ 2 staff. One is to maintain your total asset of 600,000 in Western Australia. Another aspect is the business asset of 200,000. Do take notes, out of these 3, you need to fulfill at least 2. Yeah. So that completes the whole process to get you into a PR for, under this business innovation. Let's look into the investor visa. Again, 188B and 188C, the difference is the investment amount, 2.5 million and 5 million. Also, they are required for you to actually you are required to go through the 2 stages as well. Now, the summary of the 188B and 188C, below 55 years old, if you're looking at applying for the 188B, if you are interested with the 188B and you're above 55, let us assess your point and see if you could get a age waiver from Western Australia State's government. right? And we'll advise you on the additional commitment if you're above 55 years old. As for the 188C, there isn't an age limit. Yeah, so you could be at any age. No point system applicable to 188C. For 188B, yes, there is a 65 points required. In terms of the assets, 2.5 million and the 5 million. So under 188B, the fund that you're investing, yeah, under the 188B has to be from your business or investment activity, whereas from the 188C, it could be gifted. Yeah, and obviously the residency makes a big difference between the 188B and 188C as well. Yeah, 188B do have 5 years of visa validity. Do take notes at any point of times. It takes you the quickest for you to apply to become a PR or to put in the 88 application would be 3 years after holding the 188 visa, but that provided that you meet the residency requirements of 2 years. Yeah, so and it is 40 days per year for 188C. In terms of what you are required to invest for 188B and C, we call that compliant investment, and literally they are private managed funds. There are 3 categories here. Mixed fund. Mixed fund, this includes generally like bonds, REITs. These are all the conservative investment options, yeah, of 50%. Then we have share fund. These share funds are the funds listed under the Australian Stock Exchange. But do take notes, it is not about you investing into the stock exchange on the individual share, but you are required to go through the investment with the fund manager who actually invested, for example, technology fund or pharmaceutical funds where they are invested over, a counter of share over a few listed company. And this company that's under this category do have a market cap of up to 500 million, yeah, Aussie dollar. Then you have the 20% of the balance goes into the venture capital. And a good fund manager, obviously, when people hear about the venture capital funds, they are concerned over the risk of this category of the investment of 20%. But a good fund manager do have a lot of the good options to manage the risk to the very minimum. Yeah, and we have all these options on hand to guide you through. So in terms of the processing time for 188B, relatively, it is almost about the same as 188A. And Leo did mention that earlier, if you're looking at 188C, literally it is much faster. If you're under this category and exploring this visa just because you're above 55 years old, or you're hoping to spend the minimum times in Australia, or there are situations where they needed this visa urgently for them to be able to live in Australia. Not so much now, as now that the borders has opened up. But we do understand a lot of you are facing, the problems or challenge to get the approval of your visitor visa, yeah, because of the backlog and because of the volumes of the application that people are trying to put through, yeah, especially after the borders is open, yeah. But if you are planning for this 188C, yes, this visa do come through very, very quickly. It could even be much faster than this. We do have a case where, we got an approval from the beginning until the end, and it was taken only as quickly as 4 months. Yeah. So this is the 188C. And we hope, yeah, this is all I would like to share with everybody. And we hope that, this morning gives you a good idea on your pathway, especially, if you're exploring the business innovation or the investment category. Yeah. And again, thank you, everyone. And I pass the floor over to you, Audrey.
Okay, sure. Thank you, Desmond. Thank you for recapping everything all concisely for us. Thank you. Leo, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. So I think most of the questions we have already answered in the chat itself. Okay. I think what's important is through the questions, we have seen that there are a lot of people a little bit hesitant because of a residency requirement or something like that. I just want to don't rule out, okay? Speak to us, please come and speak to us, and we will be able to guide you better on how you should exactly plan this. So sometimes by just reading the information on the slides or online, you will not be able to determine how this you. Okay, there's always something that we can guide you better when you speak to us. So please, you're more than welcome to contact us on the WhatsApp screen. Okay, and Leo, thank you for joining us. Once again, it's great to have you.
Not a problem. Yeah.
Would you like
as I mentioned, earlier, even though all the information are available online or through the slide, but we strongly recommend you to engage with a registered migration agent from Australia, because this is not an easy process. Okay, it's a lengthy and a very complicated process. And also in terms of how you can meet every requirement that will lead up to your permanent residency for your whole family. It's very important. Okay, we do encourage you to engage the service of a registered migration agent, because we have seen so many failures in the past, which where you waste your time and you waste your money, and you end it up, you got nothing. Okay, so it's very important that you have to be able to understand the policy or all the information on the website and on the slide, and a registered migration agent can interpret in your own language so you can understand. Okay, and also, if you, as I always say to everybody that come to my presentation around the world, I always tell them, if you qualify now, apply now. Do not wait, because policies could change. We are heading to a new financial year. Okay, 1st of July will be the new financial year. We just got a new government, new Minister for Home Affairs. We don't know whether the policy will change or not. So the best advice is, if you qualify now, you want to apply, then do it now. Do not wait. And if you have any doubt and questions, obviously feel free to ask an agent, or you can send us an email. We're quite happy to answer your questions related to state nomination. But for any visa related ones, you have to speak to your agent, because we are not allowed to give you any visa related advice, because we are not qualified migration agent. Okay, so in Australia, every occupation has its own standard. Okay, so even though we work for the government, we can only tell you what we know. Okay, state nomination, but in terms of the visa requirement, you have to speak to either Department of Home Affairs or registered migration agent. Okay, that's all from me.
Thank you, Leo. That's great advice.
Leo, thanks again so much for all the sharing.
Yeah.
And you take care and have a good day.
I look forward to see you very soon in Malaysia.
Yeah, see you soon, Leo.
Okay.
Yeah, in Vietnam. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
Bye.
So there are still some new questions that has come in. So we will basically contact the clients directly, because I think time is up. All right.
Yes.
So for
Thank
those where your questions are not answered, we will definitely be in touch with you. All right. Thank you so much for attending, everyone. Thank you, Leo. Thank you, Desmond.
Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.